What have you learned with this new version?
So some of the things we've learned comes from our community. You know, feedback from our community, especially with the first version of the game. Put it here. So some of the things, for instance, is you know, our same screen co-op, same couch co-op is very important for us, and our community really responded well to it. They really liked it. But we did get feedback that sometimes the rhythm of the game was slowed down when you had to open up your inventory and go through all your items, and also when you know, melee characters like the barbarian or the monk would sometimes accidentally, sometimes not accidentally, pick up all the items, and so, you know, when it's by accident, you still have to take the time to go through your inventory and give it back. When it's 4 barbarians and 1 barbarian just picked everything up, it's, you know, oh, you just happened to give me the bad items again, you know. So what we did is we were already picking items based on the players. So we were already rolling specific items based on the classes that were there. So now we tag them. So it says P1, P2, P3, P4, and so anytime anybody picks them up, it goes into their inventory. That helps to keep the flow of the game going. It delays the moment you're going to need to open up the inventory and everybody's going to cycle through their things. We've made small updates to the fast equip, so now we tell you if an item has sockets and how many sockets, or if it has special affixes and how many, because those things are important, and they may mean that this item that has red arrows, it has like 1 down red arrow, but 3 sockets. That's a really good item. You should probably have a look at it. So we're trying to give you as much information before you need to open up your inventory. It's just that kind of thing that really, you know, the feedback from our community helped us.
Are you going to implement closed BattleNet servers on the consoles, or is it going to be local saves?
So on console, you don't go through BattleNet. On console, and that isn't changing. We're using PlayStation Network and Xbox Live, all the benefits of the friends list and the watch, and we're staying with that.
So we've been playing Diablo 3 with remote play in my PS Vita.
Yeah,
awesome.
excellent.
How was the experience to develop its functionality for the game?
Actually, it was very easy. The Vita and the PS4 just handle everything on their own like big boys. There was, you know, not a lot of work for us to do. It just works. It's one of those great things. You know, it was magic.
Yeah.
Are you going to be elaborating anything on player versus player as console specific?
No, for the moment, you know, we're not doing anything console specific with that. We're still looking at it on PC. It's still, you know, it's very important to our community. It's also very difficult. The reason it's difficult is both on console and on PC are kind of similar. Is we've developed these extremely powerful characters, and the gameplay is built around one versus many, and so it's not really built against having those same characters face one another. So we're looking at different solutions, you know, maybe not necessarily as adversarial PvP, where, you know, in patch 2.1 we're going to be introducing seasons on PC, on console and PC we're going to be introducing greater rifts. And those are so those have leaderboards, and they're ways to kind of challenge and compare yourself to other players without necessarily being PvP directly. So that's a step in that direction, but we're still looking into it.
I think this is the first time in a Blizzard game you introduce some kind of characters for another IP with The Last of Us dungeon. Mm-hmm. How was the process of? Did you talk with Sony, or did
Sony wanted to, you know, Sony wanted to give back to Sony fans and PS4 fans, and so we talked with them about what we could do, and we kind of settled on these 2 great franchises, which is Shadow of the Colossus and The Last of Us. And so we, for Shadow of the Colossus, we decided to do a transmog look. The great thing about that is, as you find here, you don't need to lose the look. You just keep transmogging, so you could look like one of those Shadow of the Colossus, you know, for as long as you play. And then with The Last of Us, because they were zombies and whatnot, it was like, oh, this horror vibe, it should work. And so, you know, they sent us the character models, so our artists were able to make these characters in the game, and then we had to figure out how we were going to reproduce the gameplay, which is very different. So that was, you know, that was difficult, but it was great to have the opportunity to work with another franchise, and, you know, they were both, you know, were extremely generous with their help and assets and all that, so that was really, really cool.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the vengeance system where a champion kills another player that goes into the world of one of your friends?
The Nemesis system.
The Nemesis system.
Yeah, so that's a part of our idea of sharing your adventures with other players, and we have a few systems that are allow for asynchronous multiplayer. So we're gonna play in the same world, but we're not gonna play together necessarily. So we still feel like we're united as a community. So one of the things we have is the Nemesis system, and the way it works is, imagine I have the two of you on my friends list. And you both play Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition. I'm playing the game, and I die. And I die to a random monster. There's a chance that that monster is going to turn into a new creature, a unique looking creature, a nemesis. He's going to open a portal and disappear. While I'm lying, taking a dirt nap, he's going to disappear. And he's going to find somebody in my friends list who plays Ultimate Evil Edition. So he'll find one of you two. So the next time you log in, he's going to jump into your game. So you're going to be playing, and then your controller's going to start vibrating. You're going to hear this scary music. The portal's going to appear. He's going to jump out. He's going to have a shadow version of my character helping him. He's going to attack me. Or you actually, he's going to attack you. If you defeat him, you're going to get awesome loot, and you will send back to me a player gift. If he defeats you, then he's going to become stronger. He's going to, get a clone, a shadow version of your character. So he'll have two minions with him. He will find somebody in your friends list, jump into their game the next time. And so that's a way for us to be playing together, but not at the same time.
How big can you get? How strong can you get?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There was a moment I was like, wow, wouldn't it be great if he just got so strong that he could never be vanquished, and he just went from playerless to playerless, this mythical creature. Players would just cry when they saw him, and in about 5 seconds I was like, that sounds like a horrible idea. So after 5 player kills, the monster retires, and so at that point he just no longer jumps into
He wins, essentially.
He wins, he has nothing left to prove. Obviously you can't kill him and he retires. Same thing, for a moment we were toying with the idea that in hardcore mode, since when you die for good, the Nemesis would actually come back in another hardcore game of yours. So you would get a chance to avenge yourself of that creature that had killed you. But can you imagine that creature killing you a second time? Is like, that was not going to be, that was the kind of experience you might walk away from the game and say, that's it, I'm not making hardcore characters again. So in hardcore, they don't come back. If you play on your own, if you're not logged in online, or you don't have anybody in your friends list who plays the game, then the Nemesis will come back into your game as long as you're not playing hardcore. So you will face your own demons.
So talking about the Xbox One version, at first you said that you cannot reach 1080p, but finally you have
Yeah, Microsoft came out with a new SDK, and our engineers were able to reach 1080p while maintaining the 60 frames per second. So we're very, very happy. We're very lucky that Microsoft came out with a new SDK, and that our engineers worked very hard.
In the PC version, the end game essentially revolved around you doing rifts.
Yep.
It was mostly you would do the adventure and then you would do the rift. Is this also going to be the case for the console version?
Yes and no. So yes, you have adventure mode, so you will still have, you will be able to do rift and all that. However, when patch 2.1 ships, a little bit later, we're going to bring that to PS4 and to Xbox One, so you will have access to greater rifts. Which are, they're a much harder version of Rift. They give you access to legendary gems, and so that will be, you'll be kind of going between bounties, rifts, greater rifts, or bouncing between all of them.
Talking about PS3 and 360 versions, how long will you support these versions?
So for the content patches, like 2.1, those are only coming out on next gen. For technical reasons with the size of the patches and how big you're allowed to have patches. For patches that are not about content but balance and bug fixing, we will continue to support our consoles as best we can.
Has the loot been specifically tweaked for the consoles?
No, because with 2.0, with Reaper of Souls, we'd already gotten to loot 2.0, and so we really have, the loot has gotten very, very good with the loot drops and all that. you do get all the new legendaries that you would get from Reaper of Souls. You also get all the new legendaries with the various content patches. Those will come out as well on the PS4 and the Xbox One. But other than that, we didn't make as many changes as we had from the original PC version to the original console.
During E3, you showed this system where players could like combo through monsters and eventually become more powerful by comboing through them.
Massacre? Yes. Yeah. So Massacre is part of what we call action combat. So it's great because it's a very simple addition to the game that actually makes the whole game play amazingly well. What it is in the game, and we already had if you killed X number of monsters, you got a massacre. So hey, massacre, 12 monsters killed, a little bit of experience. What we do now is, as soon as you hit the minimum number, so it's 10 if you're alone, if you're playing with other people it's 15 I think, we show it up on screen. So the counter's on screen, you see a little countdown going down. And so you can try and keep the streak going, 15, 16, 20, 100, 180, and every time you hit a different threshold, it'll go vengeful massacre, brutal massacre, and as you're hitting those thresholds, it will also spawn Nephilim glory orbs. And once you finish your massacre, you're going to get a huge amount of experience. So all of a sudden, this system just got much bigger. And what we did is we said, well, okay, this is great. How can we keep doing more things like that? So if you destroy like pieces of the environment, like you evade into barrels, you look at barrels. If you destroy enough of them very quickly, we're going to give you a 30-second speed boost. If you kill monsters using a trap, we're going to give you increased resource regeneration for a short amount of time. So this is how you play the game already. We're finding new ways to reward you and new ways to kind of go, oh, now that you have a speed boost, maybe it's easier to do the massacre, and now that you're in a really high massacre streak, maybe you're going to keep this guy a little bit alive. Ooh, there's another guy, kill him, go get the other guy, keep the massacre streak going, try and hit your high score. So it's a different way to play the game.
So just as a final question, what is your favorite feature of the Ultimate Evil Edition? Your personal favorite?
I think it's going to be the Nemesis system because I made that one and it's fun. But I will tell you that I think action combat. My favorite one is the Nemesis system, but I think action combat is the one that moment to moment keeps it really poppy and fresh and awesome, and trying to always get that biggest massacre streak. That's pretty badass. So it is really a toss-up between the two. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.